Hello and welcome to Trek Tuesdays here on 7poundbag.com. Thank you again for coming and taking a look. Today we're doing episode 4, Where No Man Has Gone Before. And kind of odd. Again, I'm kind of thrown out of whack again. Those of you just may have been hitting this for the first time. I've never seen any of these Star Trek episodes. So I'm just kind of going through and watching them for the first time and giving you my thoughts on them. Slight spoilers at the end if I feel it's warranted. So, this one's kind of interesting because we start out with the voiceover, which is again fun. Our first one, which is again kind of odd because it just seems so much of a Star Trek trope. But we do get a voiceover. We get Spock and Kirk playing three-dimensional chess, which is always fun. We did see a glimpse of it last week, but here we go. They go out and they find basically the black box of the USS Valiant, which was disappeared 200 years ago against some big border. And since Kirk says that there eventually other ships will be coming out to the edge of the quote-unquote galaxy, he wants to find out what happened to them so it doesn't happen to these other ships. And as they approach this barrier, they do the wise thing and just ram into it. And 9 people get killed, so I guess we'll add that to the body count. And 2 members basically fall over. One being our helmsman, who we haven't seen before, and the other being a psychologist who we've never seen before. And her voice drives me up the wall trying to figure out where I know her from. But it's kind of interesting because Kirk calls together all the department heads, whereas we get our ship physicist, which is not Sheldon Cooper, it's Mr. Sulu, which is kind of funny. I guess he gets demoted from top physicist down to helmsman. I don't know what he did. Maybe he got in Kirk's way at a nightclub or something. And we also get our first appearance, best of my memory, of Montgomery Scott, which is kind of fun. Bones isn't here. We have a different doctor. Again, this is our third for the show in 5 episodes, but okay. And, somebody else who really doesn't matter. Yeoman Rand's not here. We have a different yeoman. So, again, it's kind of odd. And everybody's wearing these really weird outfits. They're almost like pullover sweaters for some odd reason. It's just kind of odd looking. So the show, the nuts and bolts are still here, but it's just kind of, again, it's a bit off-putting, a bit weird. I don't know why. But it just seems like this is more of the pilot instead of episode 4. Or again, if you saw the original pilot, episode 5. But, okay, so the barrier apparently has got people that have ESP or ESP familiarity or latent ESP powers. It makes them have more ESP. So, of course, the hot female does not have any side effects at first, but our number one does. He has these weird things coming over his eyes. He's put in sick bay. He starts getting stronger and stronger. He can do stuff with his mind. It's kind of funny because he's like manipulating machinery. They come to figure out that apparently that's what's going on. The barrier gives people with ESP potential ESP. And the guy kind of starts becoming a jerk about it, to be quite honest with you. Spock instantly says, we need to kill this dude, which makes me love Spock because I'm like, duh. I mean, he's able to shoot lightning bolts out of his hands. Yeah, we need to throw this dude out of an airlock. Kirk doesn't want to do it because he's known her for 15 years. Apparently they got into a fight over a girl, etc. and so forth, blah, blah, blah. So Kirk decides he wants to put him on a deserted planet and kind of leave him there. So they're going to do marooning instead of just out-and-out killing, which for a guy with mental powers, that's just a brilliant thing to do, marooning a guy, because who knows what he'll do in the future, because, if all of a sudden he's able to fly through space using just his mind, yeah, it's going to get dangerous. Again, those of you that saw Charlie X with me, yeah, I'm all for throwing this dude out the airlock, but what do I know? So they get down there, they're going to maroon them. The girl's power becomes kind of more latency. She becomes more powerful. Again, if she's advancing at such a slow rate compared to the dude, and the dude can do all this kind of stuff, how is she some kind of threat? But she's hot, so Kirk obviously appeals to her side, wants to make her, a good guy compared to his best friend for 15 years that he's more than willing to accept as a bad guy. Again, what do I know? It's a flaw. Sorry. You would think that the guy that you've known for 15 years, that's the one you'd want to convince. But, of course, this being Star Trek, you have two people with mental powers. You have Kirk with a phaser rifle. And, of course, it goes down to a fist fight. Of course, you're going to have a fight between the two main characters. The woman comes in to make the save. The bad guy kills the girl, which allows the good guy to win. Let's beam up and drive on like nothing happened. Again, I'll give this episode a slight pass. It's definitely not well... I don't feel it's well written. I feel there's a lot of plot holes in this one. I feel there's some major errors in this one. Again, as a first episode, the nuts and bolts are still falling into place. Again, this is kind of a shit from last week. And considering we never see this doctor again, I'm guessing it was kind of done out of sequence maybe. Or this was done like originally, depending on what you read. Spock is more of a character here. He does kind of mention that he had one time had some human blood mixed in with his race. He doesn't say it's his mother. But again, I guess they're fleshing out his character. Kirk kind of looks at him as being a bit cold, a bit heartless. Whereas at the end, when Spock does make the comment that, they'll make the changes and everything seems like that's a good idea, Kirk's like, well, maybe there's some human in you after all. Kind of interesting there. Again, we've got Sulu, we've got Scott. So they're kind of building no Uhura in this one, no Janish, no Yeoman Rand on this one. Again, no Bones, as I said. So again, we still got no Chekhov. So, they're still building the cast, I guess you could say. We are finally going where no one has gone before, which I do kind of like better than running around like the Orville. But that being said, I'll give this one a slight pass. I do kind of like it somewhat. I'm kind of interested to see what's going on next week. This crew has a lot of older characters in it as opposed to younger characters. Everybody here looks like they're in their mid-40s, except for the doctors. They all look like they're in their mid-60s. It's kind of odd. I would think if I was going to send a ship out to the stars, I'd want a lot more 20 to 30-somethings running around and, maybe the 40 as the senior staff. But again, here, you've got people that are well past retirement age all over this ship. But still, it's kind of funny. They show that, again, Spock can't be beaten three-dimensional chess. Wonder if that ever gets played in, because, again, he did beat Charlie X last week, and he beating the pants off of off of Kirk. No red shirts this time around. Well, there are, but you can't tell they're red shirts because, again, with the cast that's for me, you don't know if they're coming back. His little best friend, 15 years, we kind of knew he was gone. But still, that's where I'm going with it. Like I said, slight pass. For those of you going, definitely not the best episode so far, probably second best. But y'all have a great week. I will see you next Tuesday for episode 5 of Trek Tuesdays. If you do want to take a look at the channel, I did do a review of Outlaw King on Saturday. So if you want to back up, take a look at that, I'd appreciate it. Make sure you hit the website. And we will talk to y'all next week. Have a great day. Any comments you've got, throw them below. And I do like to read them, see what you got. Bye.